In 2009, like millions of others during the last big recession, I got laid off and I literally had no idea what to do. I Googled, I got laid off. Now what? And there was like nothing out there. YouTube wasn't what it is today. So I just had to stumble my way through. And I know I'm not the only one, as I helped hundreds of people who got laid off during my time working in career, specifically career transition or outplacement for Randstad RiseSmart. Oftentimes, I was literally the third person they met with. Like they would be meeting with the hiring manager and HR, and then they would leave, and I would come in, guiding them through the literal shock of having the rug pulled from underneath them. So if you have been laid off, you must stay tuned because I am going to ensure you don't have to stumble through. I'm going to just tell you what you need to do, and I'm going to break it down in a timeline fashion. So in the first few weeks and so on and so forth. So this is a must watch. Well, hello, I'm Sarah Curto. I am the career coach to inspire and guide you to intentionally focus on what matters most to you when it comes to your work, your impact, and your work life, which is why I come here onto YouTube every week to drop a new training video. I teach you all the tools of the trade that I've learned over coaching for 5 years and spending 15 long years hiring top talent so that you can find long-lasting career fulfillment and happiness doing work that you love. Now, I want to make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss a video. The videos are jam-packed just like today's. This week, this week, we're dealing with the shock of the layoff, because even if you're expecting it, it still rocks your world. And I want to walk you through everything from those first few weeks all the way to you starting in a new job. Okay, the first 2 weeks. The first thing you need to tackle is the paperwork. Now, you potentially want to have a lawyer look at it. I did not, and I wish I did, because the coworkers that I worked with that did have a lawyer look at it, they got more severance than I did. So I really wish I did. But that's completely up to you. But I think it would be a great idea. If there is no outplacement given. Now, outplacement is like a coach, like Randstad RiseSmart where I worked, or Knightsbridge. I'm all of the names, I didn't write them down, are now Right Management is another, are like going out of my head. But if there's any outplacement not giving, you can ask for a lump sum to pay for a coach to help you. I've worked with a ton of clients through my membership, my group coaching monthly membership, and also one-on-one, who had outplacement monies given to them. So I want you to see and if you can negotiate that. The second thing I want you to do is immediately apply for unemployment or EI, because it sometimes takes a couple of weeks for that to happen. So as soon as you can do that, I would do that. And then in this first 2 to 4 weeks, I want you to not do anything. I want you to grieve, to process it, to wallow in the misery of you being let go. Even if you were happy about it, it still kind of feels weird. Like, I was not upset to have been laid off. The only thing I was upset about was I didn't get to live out my fantasy of quitting, but I didn't like my job. So I was happy. But the first 2 weeks were still very difficult because it feels weird watching the world go to work and you are not, and not by your own choice, by someone else's choice. And those first 2 weeks are the toughest. And often you're feeling the most desperate during that time, which is why I do want you to pause if you can. to just feel sorry for yourself, have a pity party, just like wallow in grief. Because what this does is allows you to start making those intentional choices that I want you to make. Now, I am going to have a caveat because this is for people who have some sort of severance or EI or unemployment will cover a good portion, or you have an emergency fund. Because I think the more time you have to make an intentional choice, the better. But I do completely understand that that is not the case for every single person. And so we may need a different plan for you, which might be a two-step plan of find something ASAP and then find a job you want after that. Because more than likely, being laid off does have you rethink what you've been doing. And we're going to start doing that in the 2 to 4 weeks following your layoff. Now, this is where you're going to start taking advantage of any help given. Sign up for that outplacement then. Don't do it right away if you can avoid it, because it starts from that first day you sign up. So the 3 months or the 6 months or whatever. So I want you to use it when you're going to use it. So those first 2 to 4 weeks. If you don't have outplacement, find someone to help. Subscribe to this channel. Maybe potentially look at having a one-on-one coach like me or joining the Career You Love Academy, because it's only $100 a month. So it's very affordable for people in a variety of different situations. And then I want you to come up with a plan. This is when you're going to kind of come up with that plan of what you want to do. Now, if you want some more help on this, let me know below in the comments and I'll link to you some videos that will be helpful. But I want you to be spending these weeks figuring out what it is you want to do next. I want you to think about, do I want the same type of job? Do I want to pivot? So like slightly different, or do you want a whole new career? The key here really is to spend these 2 weeks figuring out what matters most to you and where you can get it. What kind of job, industry, company, career that you can get these things that matters most to you. And that takes us to the 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks after you've been laid off, after you've now grieved everything, you've gotten some of the administrative things covered, you know what it is you want for your next step. Now is when we update your resume, your cover letter, and LinkedIn. We feel this tendency in those first 2 weeks to immediately update our resume. Number one, we're doing it from a place of like anger and disappointment and self-loathing. So not the best time. Plus, if we rush it and we don't know exactly what it is we want, it isn't aligned. But if we wait until the 4 to 6 week mark, it'll be more clearly aligned with the job you want, meaning you'll be more likely to get that job, not just any job. Now, I think you should have someone you trust look at that resume. So that could be through the outplacement service, if you know anyone in HR, or as part of the Career You Love Academy. Everyone gets a free resume review and critique, cover letter review and critique, and a LinkedIn profile review and critique, just as being part of a member. It's completely free. It's like a crazy value. Now, 6 weeks until you sign an offer. So the 6 weeks after you've been laid off until you sign an offer on a new job, this is what I want your weeks to look like. I want you to spend 10 to 20 hours per week devoted to that job search. No more, ideally no less. Now, I know you've probably heard the whole adage of treat your job like a full-time job, but 40 hours devoted to a job search is soul sucking and destroying. I find when we spend 20 hours, what it does is it forces us to be intentional with our time. And so we're actually picking actions that have more impact. They create more positive results. Plus, it gives you time to enjoy this opportunity to not have a job. So while you may not want to be spending money because, you can do things like go for a hike when the trails are practically empty because everyone's working. Go grocery shopping in the middle of the week. Watch a movie in the afternoon, have a bath in the afternoon, luxuriate in this time to have an opportunity to do things that you couldn't normally do. Insert some joy. So that means that you feel a lot more positive about this time in general, which means you're a lot more positive about your search in general, which means you're more likely to get hired because people want to hire happy people in general. So the other, what I want you to do with those 20 hours a week is I want you to find those job opportunities. I want you to network, engage with people, get like the job search is very isolating. Being laid off is very isolating. Engage with others, prepare for interviews, have those interviews. And the key is continually evaluate. Am I consistent? Am I getting interviews? Am I getting past the different interview stages? Are people responding to my networking emails? Are people getting invested in my success? How am I feeling about this? And getting support from a community of like-minded people, someone like me, is super helpful, which is why I'm going to say it again, because it's just the most magical place on earth, especially when you are laid off. I love the Career You Love Academy so much. It's literally why I've created it. So once you get the offer, here is the offer signing to starting a new job piece, the final piece of once you're laid off. I want you to check in with your old employer, because if you've had severance and you, especially if it's like salary continuance, there are some things that are going to need to happen because you may be qualifying for a lump sum. And so you need to kind of close all of that off. And then you want to create a 90-day transition plan to set you up for success so that you can step into this role confident with a plan and be crazy successful in this new job. And lastly, most obviously, celebrate the heck out of it. Have so much fun celebrating the fact that you had what you probably thought was the worst thing. Like right now, you may be thinking, this is the worst thing to ever happen to me. I want you to celebrate that not only is it turned out to be like just a thing, it was a great thing, because now you're starting a job you really, really, really want and are so excited. So I want to make sure you celebrate. And I want you to find out more about the Career You Love Academy. So I want you to go to www.sarahcurto.ca/CYLA. That's www.sarah, S-A-R-A, no H, Curto, CURTO.ca/CYLA, so that you can learn more to find out if the training program that's in it, it's a whole bunch of training modules, video modules, and workbooks and guides that is self-guided to help you through the process. Plus, the key is really that weekly coaching support with me, accelerating your success, removing any obstacles, holding your hand through it all. I think it will be the best $100 that you spend or your employer spends to help you get through this layoff and into a job that is way better. Anyways, okay. And stay tuned, because more next week, I'm coming here with another training video that's going to be incredibly helpful. So until then, take care. Have a great day. Bye.